It's no secret that this is the busiest time of the year for most businesses. Black Friday and Cyber Monday, with Christmas right around the corner, it's wild. And for business owners, it can be stressful as hell. It is so critical to have the tools in place to keep your business on track during the busiest time of year. A crash point of sale system or inaccurate inventory could be devastating. You need to make sure you're ready for whatever comes your way during the busiest weekend of the year, and that is why you need Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to entrepreneurs who will be participating in their first Black Friday Cyber Monday this year. And Shopify doesn't just do sales. They have thousands of website templates and tools to help make creating a sharp and functional website as easy as possible. Their marketing tools will help you and your business stand out in the chaos that is holiday advertising. Their expedited checkout Shop Pay has been proven to boost conversions, which means less abandoned carts and more profits. And it's all backed up by Shopify's award-winning 24/7 support team. If you want to give your customers the best experience possible this holiday season, you need Shopify. This Black Friday, join the thousands of new entrepreneurs hearing for the first time with Shopify. Sign up for your free trial today at shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG and make this Black Friday one to remember.
Is a giant of a man, 9 feet tall with really big hands, living in a stump on his very own land until his world went crazy. He was minding his own business on the day they came. They showed a piece of paper.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And you know what? Really, thank you. I say it every week. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I say it on autopilot now, but I was talking to somebody yesterday. Doesn't matter where, and they just asked what I do for a living, and I mentioned I was a podcaster, and he works a hard construction job. He's a man. He works a real job. He's an adult, and he was like, man, that sounds like such a sweet job. And I was like, yeah, it is. It is. And fuck me, I just love doing this. So 354 of these over 7 years, and a bunch of you are still listening. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Really, I do mean it. And this week we're back. I know we skipped last week, but we're back, baby, with a rare movie review. And it's not even a movie based on a game we played back in the day. It's a movie based on a game based on games we played back in the day. This is like the inception of retro gaming right here. It's Wreck-It Ralph. Great movie. I love this movie. I've been wanting to do an episode on this one for quite a long time now. If anything, because it gives me an excuse to watch it again. It was my first time watching it in probably well over 10 years, and holy hell, what a movie. I love it. And I'm going to give you fair warning right now. The flick is almost 15 years old. We are going to spoil the hell out of it when we get into the review part. You're safe here in the intro, but when we get into the movie review, everything's on the table. If by chance you've not seen Wreck-It Ralph, the basic premise of the movie is that the main character, Ralph, is kind of like Donkey Kong. He's in an old school arcade game where his job is to climb up this building and then destroy it. Well, the Mario of the game, Fix It Felix Jr., climbs the building after him and fixes everything he's destroying, and actually looks like a really fun game. And the movie itself is more about Ralph's struggles as a bad guy when he's not a bad guy. The people who know. And kind of the world of gaming as a whole behind the screen, tons of cameos. It's just, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like Toy Story set in the world of video games, and it's fucking awesome. I love this movie. My guest this week is pending Remember the Game Hall of Famer and co-star of Purple Monkey Dishwasher, another Simpsons podcast, Mark Ye Old McCue. And honestly, there's not a lot else for me to say here. I love this movie. He loves this movie. You should love this movie. I have to say, if you've seen this movie and you don't like it, you don't have to love it. But if you've seen this movie and you're like, that sucked, I think I say it during our review as well, but I have to question whether or not you have a soul. I don't know how anybody could not love this movie. I love it. He loves it. You should love it. And so for an hour or so, we ramble about how much we love it. And we're going to get to all that in just a minute, because speaking of things you should love, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard and consider this your warning. Our intros are a little bit long. They're not that long, but they're a little long. We talk video games and stuff. They're fun. I recommend giving them a chance. And our intros have been glitch-free since October 2025, so we're pretty proud of that. If you want to just get to Wreck-It Ralph Top, move your thing to about the 30-minute mark, and you should be into the movie talk segment of the show. Or sign up for our Patreon. Honestly, we do have merch, and it was all designed by my man Joe from 4545 Creative, and we're very proud of it. But you can't find it at rememberthegamepodcast.com because Teespring, who does our merchandise, has just been fucking brutal. It's taken months and months to get shit out. I've just had enough of their crap. And shipping out of Canada is brutal, so our merch is temporarily unavailable while I investigate options. But we do still have a Patreon, and it's pretty much the greatest deal in the history of the internet. I have to get my plug in here. It's how I keep my bills on. And if you want to know exactly where to skip to get to the game chat or the movie chat in every single episode of Remember the Game, Patreon's the place to go because our subscription started just $3 a month. And not only do you get every episode of Remember the Game 100% ad-free with timestamps, you also get up to 4 additional shows a week. They don't have any ads in them as well. You can also write into the podcast, vote on the games we cover, join our 1,000+ member Discord, and you even get a shout out like all these other people are doing. I'm going to mispronounce their names, and I just fucked up my segue into one of the most infamous parts of the infamous intro. Anyways, a huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Vested Fiber, Travis James, I think it's Wyvern Wolfite, Marcus Please, pronounced Plice. I'm not sure why you added pronounced Price. Plice. Marcus Please. Hello, CJ. Aaron Camarillo. Kuala France. I get that pull. Gorilla Mitts. Fallen Spirit 1986. Alan the Dragon. John Ortiz. Daniel Dominguez. Ivan. J Money. Brooke. Joshua Bittencourt. Joseph Grammer. Sebastian Mildgrim. Adam Smith. And Joshua Velasquez. Is that Joshua or Joshua? I think it's Joshua. I might have copied your name wrong. Jay Velasquez. And if I got it wrong, wear it as a badge of honor. Same for the rest of you whose names I pronounced wrong. I don't say things right around here. If you want to listen to one of the shows where they get all the names and all the words right and they speak eloquently and they speak with a whole lot of pronunciation, then I don't know. Go listen to fucking, I don't know. Not Joe Rogan. I was like, I'm blanking on podcasts. Not Rogan. He's not that smart. Who's smart? I don't know. Go listen to Retrotopia or Retronauts or fucking, I don't care. I don't know. Whatever. Just leave me alone. I say things wrong. It's what I do. Shut up. Leave me alone. Anyways, thank you all so much for the support and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's some free episodes over there. You can try it out if you want to. And again, our subscriptions start at $3 a month. We offer annual subs that'll save you a month's fees. And we donate some of that income to charity every year. Normally, I would say as part of our 24-hour extra live stream. As I'm sure most of you are aware, it got canceled this year. I apologize to those that were looking forward to it. I just have had way too many balls in the air away from the microphone, and if I'm putting my cards on the table, I couldn't afford to give up 2 days this year. But we are still making our donation. The receipt will still be posted. No completionists here at Remember the Game Industries. We are on the up and up. So thank you for the support. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Matteo, who said, whilst inflation and tariffs would play a part in price rises of games, I feel this feeds into why they are and will continue to sell well. Going out for some drinks or dinner, or maybe going to a concert is getting to insanely costly levels. If a video game console costs another $100, that isn't much when it's going to last 5+ years versus one big night with the boys being a $100 to $200 affair. People want entertainment, and gaming, whilst expensive, is increasingly a relatively cheap option. Back in Australia, I once read chocolate sales are strong in softer economic times because they're a relatively cheap treat. Same concept. I like that you dropped 2 whilsts in one paragraph in the exact same show where I just ranted about how I don't say words. He card reads good. I actually like the way that you worded this though. Listen, I know I don't remember people complaining about the price of games back in the 90s. That could have very well been because we were all children and our parents were buying us the games. Maybe they were going to each other and being like, I don't want to buy my kid this fucking $190 Nintendo. I don't know, but I don't remember people complaining about it then. Doesn't matter what you say, what you do, how many hours are put into a video game now. somebody is going to complain about the price of a game, the price of a console, the price of a subscription service, as is your right as a consumer. If you think something's too expensive, don't pay for it. I don't buy nice shoes. I don't wear nice clothes because I'm a cheap fuck and I don't want to pay that much for them. So I don't. I buy the cheap shoes and the cheap clothes. We buy the regular toilet paper, not that fancy quilted kind, because I don't want to spend the extra money. But you are right. Things are getting more and more expensive. I don't know what it's like where you live, but here in Edmonton, like if you wanted to go to an Oilers game, if you wanted to take your kid to an Oilers game, by the time you get a hold of a pair of tickets, park down there, get a couple of hot dogs and a pop and maybe a beer or whatever the fuck at the game, like that's a $400+ night, and it's like, or you're right. It's you invest, I don't know what game consoles go for and anywhere else in the world, but say you invest $600 in a PlayStation 5 or a Switch 2 or whatever the fuck, and you get 5 years out of that. Sure, you got to buy some games, but there's lots of free games. There's subscription services full of games. You can buy used games. There's always games on sale. You are right. Well, the cost of everything is going up. Once that initial investment of a gaming console is over, I think there is some logic to that. Being like, all right, now I'm just going to stay home and do... That's, truth be told, that's why I got back into video games. I've told this story before, but Gears of War was what brought me back into gaming in my mid-20s after I kind of got out of it for a few years. And it was because I had racked up a bunch of debt in those years where I wasn't gaming, going out to the bars and being stupid with my friends, and I needed to stay home and get my debt paid off. So I went and bought myself an Xbox 360 with the intention of just staying home and saving my money and playing video games. And I played Gears of War, and the rest is history. But that's where it all started. So I think it's a fair point. Again, if you think it's too expensive, that's totally your right. Just don't buy it. But I hear the argument that long term it could be a sound investment. Now, once you're buying, PSVRs and all the games and all the accessories and didgeridoos, then sure, then it can add up and get pretty expensive pretty quick. And I don't know, you PC Master Racers, some of you spend as much as I've spent on a house on your fucking rigs. I can't get in touch with that stuff. But with consoles and things, I think there's some logic to what you say. So whilst not everybody agrees with what you're saying, Matteo, I do whilst agree with you. Whilst. Texas, Russia's dog walker. The people that know. Russia's dog walker said, "Hello, Adam. If the Nintendo/Sega console wars were happening right now in this culture, does Nintendo still get the W with their kid style, or does Sega take it by being more edgy?" That's a fascinating question, Russia's dog walker. If Nintendo and Sega were in the place of, say, PlayStation and Xbox right now, and it was the big, or let's just say, forget PlayStation and Xbox, it's just Nintendo and Sega, would Sega win? I don't know if it would so much be with Nintendo's kid style versus Sega's being more edgy. I do think that's part of it. I think part of the reason PlayStation pulled ahead with the PS1 against the Nintendo 64, I've said before, it was the first non-Nintendo console that I ever owned and I ever bought, and I bought my own money. The first system I ever bought my own money was a PS1, because while I still loved Mario and stuff, I felt like I'm ready to play some darker, more mature games, and like Twisted Metal was a huge one for me, and that was the PS1. So I think there's some logic to that, because Nintendo doesn't have Call of Duty. Microsoft says they'll have it someday, but I'll believe that when I see it. I feel like Sega would be all over Call of Duty and that kind of stuff. So I think there's an argument to be made that, yeah, Sega might have a little bit of an edge on the market just because they are the more mature, more adult console. I also think there's something to be said for those of you that maybe don't remember back in the day, Sega went fucking hard at Nintendo with stuff like Sega does what Nintendo don't, or Genesis does what Nintendo don't, and stuff like that. And if they were going at each other today as cutthroat as they did back then, I wouldn't put it past the Sega marketing department to just straight up point at some of the anti-consumer things Nintendo does. I'd be doing that if I was in charge of Sega's marketing department today in 2025 and they were releasing consoles and trying to compete with Nintendo. I would be pointing out failed lawsuits. I would be pointing out other companies making games like Pokemon, like Pal World and stuff like that, and be like, you don't have to play this when you could play this, and maybe put it next to Pokemon and stuff like that. I would be pointing out how much they shut down high school fucking Smash Brothers tournaments and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, do you want to buy a new game, or do you want to buy the same game for the 8th time? And like that kind of stuff. I think Sega could really kick Nintendo in the teeth if they were around today. They're not, but if they were, it'd be interesting. I'd love to see that, actually. I think that'd be very fascinating. I mean, I've never hidden the fact I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but they are kind of running unopposed right now. Like, I know that technically there's also the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, everything, and the all the other, like, the Steam Deck and all the other handhelds and PC gaming and stuff like that. But Nintendo really does kind of stay in a lane of their own, right? Like with the Switch, and they've got Mario, and they got Zelda, they have Pokemon and stuff like that. And I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if I don't know how somebody could get into their lane and really challenge them now, because I think Nintendo basically, their platform is propped up on their IPs, right? Like, it literally is the house that Mario and Zelda and Pokemon and Donkey Kong built. But if somebody could challenge them, it'd be good for gaming. It'd be good, because Nintendo's like, they're the type of, like, remember that South Park where, like, Gerald's walking around, like, smelling his own farts and stuff? That's Nintendo. But I smell their farts too, I guess, because I buy all their stuff. So, Ferris88 said, Adam, do you feel the Switch 2 has enough upgrades to consider it a next-gen handheld console, or at least a worthy successor? I mean, I don't know if I'd, like, next-gen is such a... I mean, if you go by definition, then yes, because it's the next generation of their hardware. So, like, by definition, it is a next-gen console. I think if it's up to you personally, it's kind of subjective, because I could hear the argument that the PS5 isn't that much more impressive than the PS4. PS4 is more impressive than the PS3, because I've been playing God of War 2 on my PS3 lately, and it was a fucking jump from the PS3 to the PS4. But I'll hear an argument that, like, the jump from the PS4 to the PS5 isn't much more impressive, other than the controller, than the jump from the Switch to the Switch 2. So it all comes down to, subjective in your opinion. By definition, it is. As far as whether or not I think it's a worthy successor, I do. It's literally exactly the only thing that I wish the Switch 2 had differently is an OLED screen, which would have become an even more expensive console if people would have complained more. So I play my Switch 2 like crazy. I'm like 60 hours into Silksong on my Switch 2 right now. I played Donkey Kong Bonanza. I played Mario Kart World. I'm going to be playing Metroid Prime 4 soon. I quite enjoy my Switch 2. So personally, I think it is a worthy successor, because I didn't want them to do anything stupid, and I don't think they did personally. Jeff Leopard said, would you rather be stranded on a desert island with the Street Fighter collection or the Mortal Kombat collection? Mortal Kombat. I'm not a huge fighting game guy to begin with, but growing up I had Mortal Kombat 2, and I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for the old Mortal Kombat, even though I've never once in my entire life pulled off a fatality. I don't understand how anyone does it. I just suck. I can't do it. But if I was stranded on a desert island, I think I'd rather have the Mortal Kombat collection. I'd rather not be on the island, but anyway. SSJ Will 4 said, hey, Adam, I was looking through your back catalog of episodes, and I didn't see anything from the Resistance Fall of Man series. I have fond memories of playing it online before PlayStation added a fee like Microsoft for an online subscription on PS3, and really enjoyed the entire trilogy for the campaign, which was an alternate World War I history of aliens had invaded. For someone that never got into Ratchet & Clank series, it was a fun way to see Insomniac Games use their creativity for having some really unique weapons for a mature first-person shooter game. Just curious if you've ever played them, or if you have any plans to play them. I'll be honest, initially I had no intention, like Resistance wasn't even on my radar, and then I don't remember which episode it was. Maybe it was Best Cover Art, but someone wrote in about Resistance, the first one, and I looked at the cover art, and yeah, it was like a World War I helmet, like laying in the trenches, but with a fucking alien face on it, like a skull, and I was like, that looks fucking sick. And I mean, I'm not super interested in trying any multiplayer with it if the servers are even live anymore. But yes, I've gone from not interested to, yes, I am interested. I would say 37.8% chance it gets an episode of RTG in the new year, the first Resistance. Because I am interested. I've never played them, but I am interested now. Patrick Hunter said, Adam, I thought of this question while playing Yakuza. On a scale of 1 to 10, how smelly would you say you are? I would say 2. 2 out of 10. Because farts, and they happen, and coffee breath. But I flex on this every chance I get, because I'm short, I have asthma, I'm allergic to the world, and I have a lazy eye. I don't produce BO. There's like a small portion of people that just don't have like the gland or something, and that's me. Like I don't wear deodorant ever. I just don't produce BO. I don't stink. And before you're like, you're full of shit. No, ask Shaley. Ask my wife. She'll be like, no, he stinks, but only when he forces himself to stink. So I would say 2 out of 10. Hogzilla said, if you had the power to resurrect the Dreamcast, how would you change it? And there can only be 3. So which current system do you replace, and why is the answer Xbox? First, answer the second question first. Well, I like Xbox more than PlayStation. The answer is Xbox, yeah. Because there's no chance I'm getting, even as much as I hate, I'm a fart-sniffing Nintendo fan. I'm a fart-sniffing Nintendo fan, so I'm not getting rid of Nintendo. And PlayStation is better. Like, I prefer Xbox, but PlayStation is better. So we are dumping Xbox. If I could resurrect the Dreamcast, the two changes I would make, I go back to 1999, and obviously hindsight's 2020, and I think most people, including Sega, would say the same thing. But I would put more security in toward playing burned games because that destroyed them, that everybody was out copying their games. And I would have included a DVD player. And if it had come at a higher price, then it would have come at a higher price. I think Sega's problems, and we've done this dance, I think Sega's problems go back to before the Dreamcast. And I'm not trying to dunk on you Saturn fans, because the Saturn might have been a great system, but by the time the Saturn came around, after the Sega CD, the 32X, all that kind of stuff, I think some Sega fans were kind of, and parents particularly that were buying these things, were like, how many more of these fucking things do I have to buy? I think had it just gone from the Genesis to the Saturn to the Dreamcast, like Nintendo did from the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo 64 to the GameCube, I would say PlayStation, but they weren't around in the 16-bit era. I think they might have been okay. So, but if we're just talking Dreamcast, games had to be less piratable, and they needed a DVD player. That DVD player, that's what killed them. I bought a PS2 primarily for the DVD player. Like, that's what killed them. So, poor Sega. And finally, before we move on, it's letter time. Tylenol made me like this. Thanks, Mom. That's a good handle. Wrote in and said, howdy. So I started listening to you about 6 months ago, and I ran through the majority of your old Remember the Game episodes until I caught up. My question is this. Do you ever miss the beginning, the in-person podcast guests, the making shit up on the fly, letter time, the Hall of Fame? I assume Mark is still banned. The Angry Adam episodes, the true reminiscing and the nostalgia of the start of it all for you. You're doing great work. Keep it up. Thank you, Tylenol. That's who listens to my show. People whose Tylenol made them like this. Thanks, Moms. I miss parts of the early days of the show. Yeah, the in-person thing was nice, but it was also a much, much, much bigger hassle. Like, I know the audio quality of my chats with my guests are hit and miss. Not all of my guests own podcasting equipment, and I've got like a dozen people I rotate through the show. I'm not in the position to buy them all top quality pod. If it was like one guest every week, it would be different. Like, when we have Mark on Purple Monkey Dishwasher. But when it's a whole bunch of different guests, I'm just not in a position to buy everybody a podcasting setup for like one episode every 2 months that they do with me. Whereas the in-person made the audio quality a lot easier, but it was also a lot bigger hassle to schedule. Some of my friends live in hours away from my house, and getting them over and everything was a lot harder. I don't miss the days before the infamous intro, because I love the infamous intro. That's why it's still around. Haters gonna hate. I enjoy the infamous intro. Angry Adam still comes out at times, but I know people, not everybody, but I know some people like the Angry Adam episodes. I feel like if I do them too often, they become forced, or they become like a shtick. So when I do it, like, it is real. It is like a game that makes me angry. I just turn it up like I would as a comedian, and I tell a story, and I just put a little bit more venom behind it. I think the thing I miss the most about the early days of RTG is the reminiscing. We have basically gotten to a point where I don't think there is a video game left on this planet I could review without replaying it first. There are tons of games I want to cover on the show that I have played that I want to review. Like, we're doing Batman Arkham City soon, and I need to replay it for the show. And somebody was like, you've never played Batman Arkham City? And I'm like, no, I did. I love that game, but I haven't played it in 10 plus years, and I only remember aspects of it, and I want to give it a good review, so I need to replay it. I will say there's something to be said for like the first 100, 150 episodes where they were pretty much all remember this, that now they have become kind of like modern retro game reviews. And I know not everybody loves that about the show, but there's nothing, but children, I can't help that. There's nothing else I can do, because I've talked about every game that I have a lot of memories for. So now it's replaying them, and then if I've got memories to mix in, so be it. So if I miss anything, that's what it is. That, and I was a lot lighter 7 years ago than I am now, but what are you going to do as I look down at my tits? What are you going to do? Anyways, thank you so much for Tylenol for writing in. Thanks everybody for writing in as always. We need to keep this ball rolling, so let's switch things up and get to our official game show of Remember the Game Industries, our smash hit segment, Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you to Class and Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, some weeks when we do retro gaming movies, we mix more retro gaming movies in here instead, and it becomes watch one, remake one, erase one. But this week I decided we'd kind of covered most of the movies I wanted to do in here before. So I went with 3 games that feature some of the villains from the support group that Ralph is in, the best scene in the movie. So we've got Mario 3 with Bowser, Street Fighter 2 with Zangief, and Sonic 2 with Dr. Robotnik, because I hate the name Dr. Eggman. And as you can imagine, a whopping 43% of you said play Mario 3. But then the remake and erase was up, but 43% said play Mario 3, remake Sonic 2, and erase Street Fighter 2. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Hollywood Waluigi said, I can hear the NWO music playing when he comes out. That's awesome. Waluigi in the place of Hollywood Hogan, and then Wario in the place of Scott Hall, and Bowser in the place of Kevin Nash. That's good shit. I like it. Hollywood Waluigi said, play Mario 3 because it's already perfect and one of the greatest games ever made. Remake Sonic 2. It kind of got one with Mania, but more Sonic is a good thing. Yes, I do generally prefer Sonic over Mario, despite acknowledging most Sonic games suck. Erase Street Fighter 2. Besides the music, it wouldn't really be missed. Other fighting games from around that time are better in my opinion. Plus, the US port of the collection is bugged and stuck on hard mode. I think every fighting game is stuck on hard mode. If I had a monkey's paw, I might wish to be like a world-class fighting game player because I am so bad at those games. Fuck me. Major Tom 02 said, play Sonic 2. It's perfect the way it is. Remake Street Fighter 2, add more characters and arenas and some new fighting game mechanics. Erase Mario 3. It seems crazy, but Super Mario World does it all better. And that's the fly in the pudding. You could get away with erasing Mario 3 because you got Super Mario World. And I think that's a fair answer. I think that's a fair answer. So Wolfgang Darren said, play Street Fighter 2. It's already good. Remake Sonic 2 because Genesis does what Nintendo don't. And erase Mario 3 because it's just a proto Mario World. And I like Mario 2 more. I also like Mario 2. I don't know if I like it better than Mario 3. That's spicy. But I do like Mario 2. It's a good game. Black Heathen said, I grew up with the NES, Super NES, so this is right in my wheelhouse. Mario 3 is one of the greatest, so please, Adam, will a Mario Wonder-style remake into existence? I was good at Street Fighter 2 as a kid, so much so that 30-plus years later, one of my friends still brings up the time he beat me in a round. So play that, as there's no way I can risk deleting that level of fame, which leads me to break the rules and delete Sonic 2. Never played it as I was a Nintendo fan, and I now never will. It's pronounced NES and SNES, not NES and SNES. Double secret probation. Black Heathen, it is not. It's NES and SNES, and you fucking kids that call it NESs and SNESs could go eat your zaws while you LMFAO with your BFFs in your fucking quarries. Fallen Spirit 1986 said, new Patreon here. I'm still plugging away at the backlog. That they fucking played the card to get read. Well done. Play Super Mario 3. It's nearly perfect. Remake Sonic 2 in the Metroid 2 style, adding quality of life improvements, and the 3D 2D art style is great. And then kill Street Fighter 2 with fire, bury it, and forget this overrated piece of crap ever existed. Fight me. That's a... I don't know if I could go that. I'm not a fighting game guy, but I don't know if I could call it an overrated piece of crap. Not when you have Sonic 2 in the Ross. I don't want any Sega fans angry. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with 15% of you. 15% voted the way I did, as did Dark Knight 4251. This is easy for me. While I prefer the turbo version for some of the extra moves, I always go back to Street Fighter 2 when I want a fighting game. I've never had any reason to take a deep dive into the others. Remake Super Mario Bros. 3 because, while it's a fun game, going back to the NES version can be a bit rough. And then erase Sonic 2 because I've tried multiple times to enjoy that game and I just don't like Sonic. It's not fun to me and I won't miss it or that series. I think I'm going to shock some people, but I have the same order but different reasoning. I'm going to play Street Fighter 2 because I can beat Mario 3 standing on my head, and now I can beat Sonic 2 with my good eye open. But I can't even win a fight in Street Fighter 2. So I'm going to play Street Fighter 2 and learn to get good, as the kids say. I'm going to get good while we eat some za and BRB and our LMFAOs. I'm going to remake Super Mario Bros. 3 because I think that could be insane. And you know what? While I prefer 2D Mario, I would make it a 3D. I know someone mentioned make it like Mario Wonder. I would make a 3D. Imagine Mario 64, or like Mario Odyssey, but it's Mario 3. Like, I think that'd be so sick. So I'm going to go with Mario 3 remake. And then I'm going to race Sonic 2. It is the second best Sonic, but it is the worst of these three franchises. And I'm fine. I've beaten it now. I don't care. I can live without it. So thank you, everyone that wrote into the show as always. What have I been playing? And then we'll get into some Wreck-It Ralph talk. I have been playing Silk Song. I am well over 50 hours into Silk Song, still chipping away. I don't know when I'm going to review it. I'm going to play it until I don't want to play it anymore. I'm not looking anything up. I'm just having a great time exploring and going back through areas that I keep finding new things. And I love that game. I love it. It was worth the wait. It was well worth the wait. So I'm playing a ton of Silk Song. I did start Ghost of Yote, but I've kind of shelved it till I'm done with Silk Song because both those games feel like ones that if I walk away for too long and then come back, I'll be lost. So I'm just going to finish Silk Song and then I'll go all in on Ghost of Yote. I've been playing Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which I'll be reviewing tomorrow on Expansion Pass. It's fucking really good. It's a really good kart racer. And then for retro stuff, I've been playing Jaws on the NES, which we'll be reviewing in the next 2 weeks. And I've been playing God of War 2 on the PS2. I've been playing the HD version on PS3, which we'll be reviewing in the next 2 weeks. And one of them is very, very, very good. And the other one is Jaws. So, yeah, that's what I've been playing. That's it, everybody. Okay, so thanks so much. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll let our sponsors in. And when we get back, it's Wreck-It Ralph from here to the end of time, okay? Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Welcome to Lit Wax Arcade, where we have fun, friends, and Fix It Felix Jr. featuring Wreck-It Ralph. It's all new, fully 8-bit, state-of-the-art, and the hottest arcade game in the world. Test your skills against this totally rad wrecker who loves living up to his Wreck-It name. Only you can save Niceland.
I can fix it.
And be the hero. Fix It Felix Jr. featuring Wreck-It Ralph. Now at Lit Wax Arcade on Route 83, offering 2 free quarters on your birthday.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I love the fall, except for the fact that the sun starts getting lazy. Up here in Edmonton, it's dark for like 14 hours a day now, and honestly, it can be kind of depressing. It's important to remember that just because the sky is dark, it doesn't mean life has to be. If you can't go outside, then spend your time with people you care about. Send someone a text, go out for a coffee. Reconnecting with people can be so good for your mental health, and you'll probably say, I should have done that sooner. People say the same thing when they try therapy. BetterHelp makes therapy as convenient as possible. They have over 30,000 licensed therapists on their roster that can meet you over video, phone, or even just chat when and how it works best for you. Fill out a quick questionnaire to let them know what's on your mind, and they do a great job of pairing you with a therapist suited to your needs. And if by chance it's not a fit, you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. They've helped over 5 million people around the world take the therapy plunge. Why not give it a shot? This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's get into some Wreck-It Ralph talk. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game, or the movie in this case we're covering, before my guest and I hog the microphone. No shortage of comments praising this movie as I expected. So let's rip through a few of them. Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire said, I have young children, so I watched this movie many times. They did a great job creating worlds for video game characters and gave many nods to the lore. I love the villain therapy session. There is a ROM for Wreck-It Ralph, and it is a bear of an NES hard game. I don't do a lot of ROMs, but I may have to, maybe I'll look it up. I don't know. I don't want to tinker. ROMs involve tinkering. I don't tink. I'm not a tinkerer. But I was saying on this episode, like, how did we not get, they could have released like an NES like remade cartridge or something. It would have been fucking sick. I don't know. Something out of it. It is a great movie. I agree. Hot Cheese Sauce said, I've had to watch this a few times this weekend as it is my daughter's favorite movie. Oddly enough, I'm not sick of it yet. It's a very charming flick and I love all the video game references and characters they brought in. The one thing I'm always surprised about is Nintendo allowing the use of Bowser in the movie, even though he isn't an arcade character. Oh, neither is Eggman, I guess, really. But anyway, or Robotnik, whatever the fuck. We talk a little bit, because I agree with that, but we talk a little bit about that, as you're going to hear in this episode, about what we think the powers that be at Wreck-It Ralph HQ had to do to get Bowser out of Nintendo's hands. You're going to hear about that in a couple of minutes here. Banjo the Bear said, "This is not only a great movie, it is a great movie for video game fans. This was a true love letter to gaming, and they did not hold back. From mentioning a classic like Tapper to featuring characters like Ryu, Ken, Sonic, Pac-Man, and Q*bert to the Metal Gear exclamation mark and the Konami code being referenced. It is such a fun movie. You could tell this was more than making money off video game franchises in a movie. This was passion and art." Well said. Well said, Banjo the Bear. Well, I don't even have anything to add. This is a good fucking comment. Subpar Nova said, "Great movie with tons of video game references. My favorite being the Konami code the main villain uses to get into his hideout." Yeah, I don't think I don't know if I caught that. It's been a decade plus since I've seen this, so I had forgotten about that, but that made me pop when I saw it watching. I guess spoiler, but it's not a big spoiler. Wintershins said, "Such a sweet movie. Both my boys who are 5 and 2 love it, and so do I. I would genuinely love to play the Sugar Rush kart racing game." That I'm going to say my thoughts because that's something we talk about in the episode as well. But you and your boys have good taste. And Alex Johnson said, "My favorite Disney movie other than Toy Story. The interaction between Ralph and Vanellope is hilarious and wonderful. Also looking for all the gaming Easter eggs like the Aerith graffiti was so much fun. Just like watching Ready Player One, but with an actual good movie to watch while looking for them." I didn't catch any Aerith graffiti. I missed that. I'm not going to poo-poo on Ready Player One. I've read the book and love it, but I've not seen the movie. I'm going to have to watch that movie at some point. I'll put it on the pile. I have tons of movies I need to watch, but I really did like that book. So much better than Ready Player 2, Plain and Tall. So I may have to watch that movie at some point. But that's then. This is now. We're talking Wreck-It Ralph. I'm going to queue up. You know what? No, I'm not. Because I do have some music from Wreck-It Ralph, but I want to be careful with what I use because I don't need the fucking Disney, the mouse coming after me. So I'm just going to say that in a second, I'm going to play a little clip from the movie, which I love. So Mark and I, I'm so thrown off now because usually I go, I'm going to cue up some music, and when it stops, okay, just focus, Adam. So once this clip from the movie stops, Mark, McCue, and I are going to be taking another look back at Wreck-It Ralph, which originally hit theaters in North America on November 2nd, 2012. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Let's go.
I'm Zangief. I'm bad guy.
Hi, Zangief.
Hi, Zangief. I relate to you, Ralph. When I hit bottom, I was crushing man's skull like sparrow egg between my thighs. And I think, why do you have to be so bad, Zangief? Why can't you be more like good guy? Then I have moment of clarity. If Zangief is good guy, who'll crush man's skull like sparrow's egg between thighs? And I say, Zangief, you are bad guy. But this does not mean you're bad guy.
All right, joining me via the blank phone on a snowy Friday night to talk a 13-year-old movie because neither of us has a life is the Fix It Felix to my Wreck-It Ralph pending Remember the Game Hall of Famer and Purple Monkey Dishwasher alumni Mark McCue. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I really fucking love this movie. Like, anybody who's listened to the show long enough knows that I'm like I'm a little bit obsessed with Disney properties. So like, I'm really happy to be here and talking about this movie.
You were who I thought of. Sorry, I thought you were going to be longer than that. I took a sip of my drink. I thought that was going to go another like 3 seconds. No, you were who I thought of to come on this episode right away. I was like, Mark's a fucking
who's a dork that like is way too into children's movies. Oh, I know.
Well, that said, we were just talking off air. I would have bet my house this was a Pixar movie. I just finished rewatching it for the first time since it came out and I saw it in theaters. And I would have bet my house it was a Pixar movie. It was only after I looked it up that I was like, oh, I guess we never saw the little thing with the lamp at the beginning, which was the tell that it wasn't. But
yeah, there's like kind of that period where like Disney animation kind of had a similar vibe to Pixar.
Yeah.
Because Pixar was just like knocking it out of the park with every single movie they came out with. So, and was kind of carrying the whole Disney, was carrying the brand for a little bit. So at that point, Disney was like, okay, well, what if we tried to like ape Pixar a little bit? And so they came out with like this and Big Hero 6.
Well,
and
Pixar, like what made me think of them with this was like, you know, everybody loves toys. I gotta say, like, I know every time I have a blanket statement on the show and I say everybody has seen something or played something or loved something, somebody has to be that guy that writes it is like, I don't.
Okay, but who doesn't like Toy Story?
If you don't
who
like,
has
I have
seen
to
Toy
say,
Story and doesn't like it.
if you don't like Toy Story, you don't have to like all of them. That's fine. But if you don't like Toy Story, you might not have a soul. I just want to say, like, it's just like that's always what I think of is like Toy Story. But then, Monsters Inc. and the list goes on and on. I think what's so brilliant about them is that they're entertaining enough that a child could watch it, but there's still enough. I don't want to say adult jokes, but like smart jokes and jokes in there that like you can go and see it as a, it's like I played Bluey the video game for the show a year ago to do a parody review, and I'm sorry to all you parents out there, but like I couldn't sit through a Bluey movie. I couldn't sit through a Paw Patrol movie. I not without being drunk. I might be like, this is too much. But these movies, like that's the sign of a brilliant movie, and this is one of them where it's just as entertaining to kids as it is to adults. And obviously, I'm more entertained knowing all the video game references that are in this. But take the video game references out of it because that's just fun Easter eggs. It's just I think this is a perfect movie. Like it is so.
You know what? I actually had that too. Like there are better movies than this for sure, but like I was watching this and I'm like, this movie, the way it is made, is perfect. Because there's not a single idea that's introduced in this movie that isn't fleshed out to its absolute fullest potential.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's not and like I'm one of those. I'm fucking brutal. I don't even know why I do this to myself. I almost look for plot holes, and if I find one, I'm like, boy, like I can't believe that they didn't. That it's how did he know that she was in the museum that night or whatever? Like I always look for those, and I don't know why I do that to myself. Because if I just stopped doing that, I'd probably enjoy television and movies more. But watching this movie today, I was like, there's not a single...
There's none.
There's none. It's perfectly written.
Every single character is so well defined. You know what they want. You know how they're going to try to achieve it. And you know what obstacles they're going to face in the... And it's so, like... It's just so well crafted. Like, I remember watching this and I almost thought, like, this is almost too well made.
Yeah, it is.
This movie.
Like, it's so well written. But one of the reasons I don't do more movie reviews on here, for those of you that have maybe not listened to one before, is because I don't know any actors or actresses or directors. Like, I don't know anybody, but I do know John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman, and I've never had a major.
And you've probably seen like Alan Tudyk in something before, and be like, "Oh, okay, it's that guy."
Who's Alan Tudyk? Was that the bad guy?
He's King Candy in this, and he was like Steve the pirate.
Oh yeah,
in
Steve the pirate. I just clicked his Wikipedia page. Oh, yeah. And he was in A Knight's Tale.
He was in A Knight's Tale,
yeah.
and he was like in 3:10 to Yuma, and he was Sonny and I, Robot. Like he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Wow, neat! I didn't realize that was him. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like I've never been a huge Sarah Silverman fan, but I'm also not anti Sarah Silverman. I'm very like she's fine.
I like Sarah Silverman.
Yeah, she's fine. She crushes it.
Like I like her stand up a lot. I didn't see a lot of the Sarah Silverman show, but just from what I've seen of Sarah Silverman, I like, and she's great in this movie.
Great. I like when I think of Sarah Silverman, I think of Seinfeld, and I think of this movie because she's so good. She's so good as Vanellope. Like she's so good. That kid, I don't know what it is about that kid. But I just like from the minute she pops up, like I know it's Ralph's movie and Ralph's great and we'll talk about Ralph. But from the minute Vanellope pops up, I am just in love with this kid. I'm like, how do you not cheer for this kid?
Well, that's it. Like this, and like this character is so well that like all of these characters are so well defined by the second you see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Which takes you back to Ralph. And like, just before, because we should talk, like, we'll get into Ralph in a second. I just have to say, I've said this on the show many times, not a Will Ferrell fan. Like, he has his moments. He's good in Anchorman. He was great in Eastbound and Down. By and large, I'm not a fan. He annoys me. He's always the same. Kind of irritates me. And I hate that John C. Reilly always has to be his fucking Robin. Drives me. You know what?
I have a hot take. I fucking love Will Ferrell. I love Elf. I love Anchorman. I love in the Lego Movie. I thought he was great. Will Ferrell pretty much always makes me laugh. I fucking hate Step Brothers, and I think I'm the only person I know that hates that movie because everyone does like, oh, this is the funniest movie. This is the funniest movie. I cannot stand Step Brothers.
That's how I feel about Elf. So fair game.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
I love Elf.
I detest that movie so much. I fucking hate, and it's because I fucking hate Will Ferrell. And like, oh, look at me, I'm a fucking big child and I eat spaghetti with marshmallows. I hate him so much. So much. But I love John C. Reilly. Like in everything they're in together. And even when he's on his own, obviously. He's fantastic.
Might be a bit out of your like special interest, but like have you ever seen Chicago?
No.
John C. Reilly, it's like the one movie he was nominated for an Oscar for. And so like it's a musical movie and he plays like the kind of like simple husband, and he's so fucking good in this
Dude,
movie.
he's great. Like he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And he's very funny. And I would imagine, like I've never voice acted in a major rated PG movie, but I can imagine it's not a necessarily easy thing to do, to be like a main actor and then nail a role like Wreck-It Ralph, where you're the bad guy, but that doesn't make you a bad guy, blah, blah. We'll get into all that. But like, that first scene, the first scene of this movie where they explain Wreck-It Ralph, and it's so obviously Donkey Kong, which I love. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And like the cabinet looks like a Donkey Kong cabinet and everything. And we'll talk about the Easter egg thing separately, because even if you remove all them, this is a great movie. Those are just the sprinkles on the sundae. But
those are like, if you're a video game person, it adds just like an extra layer of like, oh, this is great to this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And like right out of the gate, when he explains that like he wrecks stuff and he's like, and I'm really good at what I do. And the whole concept of the game is he destroys buildings and then you control Fix It Phoenix, and you need to avoid the bricks that Ralph is throwing down at you while he's destroying the building. You go up and fix it and stuff like that. And then when he fixes it, Ralph gets thrown off the top of the building into the mud. And then like, and you're thinking like, okay, well that's you're the bad guy in the game. That's what you're supposed to do. And then he explains that, like after the games are done, he goes and lives in a pile of bricks in the dump by himself and watches Phoenix get like his flowers from all the townsfolk, and they all love him and everything. And
he gets like a medal every day for...
Yeah. And even before we see him in the support group, which is the best scene in the movie, in my opinion, and we can talk about that in a second. Even before that, they're doing a great job, because like not only do you kind of feel bad for this guy, but like I'm watching this and I'm like, dude, I've been playing video games for almost 40 years. And I don't know. I don't think that they come to life like this when the games are off. But
I would hope not.
It's but like it does make you think like if they did, that would suck. That you're just like, I'm the star of the game. Like I know the game is called Fix It Felix, but like as Ralph proved, they need Ralph for the game to work. And it's like all the guy does is loses and then gets thrown away by it, and everyone hates him. But he's like a really nice guy who's just doing what he was, born to do.
Yeah, like he's programmed to be the bad guy, and they hate him for it. And it's kind of, it's like it's what a fantastic idea for a story.
Yeah, it is, because it's not like, in any other, in most movies, you can take the bad guy and be like, well, if you really hate being a bad guy so much, then why don't you just be a good guy, dumbass? Like, why don't you just not be a bad guy? But that's what's so brilliant about this storyline and this premise is that like when he tries to not be the bad guy, he almost kills all of them because it ruins the game. Like he literally is stuck. He has to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm like that adds a lot of depth to him, because I'm like, this guy I don't think he minds being the villain. He just wants to be appreciated for being the villain.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
And it's like, it really does get to you. And I love that line, just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're bad guy.
That's such a great line.
Yeah.
And that's from that fucking dude, that support meeting that where like I love that it's hosted by Clyde of the Pac-Man Ghosts, and I'm a huge Pac-Man fan, huge. And the brilliance of having Clyde host that meeting is that the other three, Inky, Pinky, and Blinky, all have strategies to them. Like they all have a method to their madness. Clyde he's the wild card ghost. Like he's the one that kind of just goes off on his own and doesn't try to trap you a lot of the time and stuff. So I love that they made him be the one to host this thing, because like he's actually deep and like sensitive enough to host this fucking support group. Not to mention all the other villains that are there. Oh my god, I fucking love that.
Satan. It's actually Satin.
Yeah. And obviously, like, Zangief is there, and fucking my boy Bowser is there. Dr. Egg. What's that?
Bowser.
Yeah, Bowser's the best, in my opinion. I love that they got both Bowser and Robotnik. I refuse to call him Dr. Eggman. Robotnik.
Yeah.
I thought that was so sick. And I love that it's just a support group for all of these villains to sit around and just be like, well, we have to fucking do our jobs, because if we're not villains, then there's no games and the whole fucking world dies. But everybody hates us for doing it. And I wish that Bowser had lines. Like that's my only criticism of that scene, is he's my favorite. And outside of him like blowing fire, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I guess like, no, this would be long before they decided that Jack Black was going to be the voice of Bowser. But like, how great would that have been? Like in another universe, having like Jack Black come by to voice a few lines for Bowser for this movie.
Yeah. That would have been insane. Or like Jim Carrey as Eggman.
Yeah.
Robotnik,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Yeah. It's, but I love that scene. And like, I remember when this movie came out and reading about the headaches they were having negotiating with various companies to get their villains to be in this movie. And because like, and I might be talking out of my ass, but it was stuff like our guy has to be bigger than everybody else and this kind of shit. Like it was all these like stupid things, because they're like, because who knows where Bowser stands in scale compared to Zangief.
Yeah.
You know, and so they were like,
I've actually never thought about that.
Yeah.
But that is really interesting, because they really like, they have a lot of like original villains in this like little support group. And I imagine that is because like they wanted to like have that whole meeting filled with like people we recognize, but they were only probably able to get a handful of them.
I like to think that they were I'm gonna pull a number out of my ass here, but they were like, okay guys, like do you remember in The Simpsons where they're making the Radioactive Man movie and they're like, they've got their budget and they're just like this is the biggest, most expensive shot in the film and we've only got one shot at it, so we've got to make it count. Like I imagine it's like that, and they were like, we have $3 million to spend on video game villain cameos, and when they called up Nintendo to get Bowser, Nintendo was like, well, we'll take 2.9 million. And they were like,
yeah.
Well, we got it. Bowser is unquestionably the most iconic villain in gaming. So they're like, okay, well, we'll put Bowser in. And then Sega will give us Robotnik for $50 and a sandwich, because they're not doing anything.
I also love that Mario is referenced but never seen. And it's like, oh, it's because they spent all the money on Bowser.
Yeah.
And Star.
Yeah. Can you imagine what they wanted for Mario if that's what they charged for fucking Bowser? Yeah. I agree. It would have been nice to have a couple more actual villains in, but that's still my favorite scene in the movie, because I cannot overemphasize as a lifelong gamer how much I love the idea of all of these villains sitting around being like, our worlds depend on us, but they depend on hating us. And like, that would fuck you. Dude, as a comedian, I feel like a sack of shit all the time. Like, I can't imagine how you'd feel being the villain of a fucking world
like
all the
Bowser.
time. Like, yeah. And then I love when they leave that meeting and they all just get on the train together and they're just riding through the power line together into the subway, into the fucking like main hub. Oh, it's just,
yeah, I kind of like, I like the way that they've established this world where it's like they tell you like, hey, if you die in your game, you actually die, you don't respawn. And, you know, she shows them like riding the subway and like using the power lines. And
and it's that's such a brilliant way. Like the fact that the whole movie is set inside an arcade And that's how they're having all these characters interact with each other, is just when the games are off, they all just go to this, like, it looks like fucking, like, I don't know. I don't know. We don't have a big bus station here in Edmonton, but it just looks like a big, central square, whatever, bus station. And that's where everybody just fucking hangs out and meets up. And yeah, the only rule is as long as you're dying in your own game, you're fine. If you go into somebody else's, that's over. And even that, dude, like seeing all the different games over the outlets, and that's the entrances, like getting on like the fucking South train to whatever neighborhood. You take that power line into like Tapper or whatever the fuck, and the number of games they got in there and everything. Oh my god! It's like, if you're not a gamer, if you're just some 5-year-old kid that's never heard of these games, you're just having fun watching the movie. But me, like, for someone our age that's been playing games for so long, you're watching it and you're like, I'm trying to pay attention to the storyline, but also just looking to see how many other names and characters and stuff I can spot at the same time.
Like, later in the movie, we don't get a lot of that, but like, it's this early section where they're really building the world, where it's, you'll see like, you'll see things like Tapper and Pac-Man. And
I love that the Burger Time, because I love Burger Time, buddy. Oh, I love that game. Have you ever played Burger Time?
Actually haven't. How do you play Burger Time? What's that?
It's like, think, how do I explain it? Kind of think like the last stage of Donkey Kong with the girders and the ladders. But what you're doing is there's bottom patties, or bottom buns, top buns, burger patties, and then tons of ingredients. And the object of the game is to get a high score. You just run around this maze knocking these ingredients down onto the bun. And then eventually when you're like, okay, I have enough ingredients on there, I want to get a score, then you knock the top piece of the bun down. And the more ingredients you got into your burger before you knock the top piece down, like, the more points you get. And while you're doing it,
labor-intensive way to make a burger possible.
Oh, buddy. And while you're doing it, there's like eggs and stuff running around trying to kill you. And you can throw pepper at them to slow them down and stuff. It's awesome. Burger Time.
Oh, that's cool. I'm actually not familiar with Burger Time.
It's fucking awesome. And I loved that, like, there was a scene, because I feel bad, because poor Qbert is so down on his luck. I wonder what they paid to get Qbert in this fucking movie.
Like, probably, like, you said it was like 1.9 to get like Bowser. It was probably like, okay, well, we'll take 0.001 for Qbert.
Yeah. I imagine they went to Qbert. Who the fuck is Qbert? Is that Bandai Namco? I don't know. Whoever I'm gonna look it up. But whoever the fuck owns Qbert,
I think it is Bandai. I think it is Namco.
Qbert. No, Gottlieb.
Oh, well,
okay.
The fuck is that?
I don't know. But anyways, so they went to like whoever has the rights to Qbert now. And they were just like, hey, we'd love to have Qbert and friends in Wreck-It Ralph. Here's our movie. Here's what we want to do. How much do you guys want? And they were like, 300,000. And then they were like, we don't think we can make it work. Oh, well. And like, they get like the Gil voice. Like, I hear Gil like, oh, well, hey, wait, well, what do you have? And they were like, well,
I'll do it for a sandwich.
Yeah. Like, well, I've got this skip the dishes gift card. I'm not sure how much is left on it. Hot damn, I'll take it.
Dude, I just love the idea. For a skip the dishes gift card
and then they were like,
with a vague amount of money on it.
And then they're like, so what are you gonna do with our Bert anyway? Is he like one of the heroes? Well, actually, we're gonna have him and the villains be down on their luck asking for change, hanging out in the bus station. And there's a scene where I don't remember what scene it is, but in the background you can see the Burger Time chef giving them food. And
that's fun.
That made me pop. Yeah, I dude, did you ever play Qbert? I used to be a big Qbert fan.
Yeah, I think I have, because like he jumps from like square to square, doesn't he? That's his thing.
Yeah, but it's like a pyramid of squares, but what's tricky about it is that like when you play it on the NES, that's the only place I've ever played it. The D-pad is at like 45 degrees because you're always on an angle. And you need to like land on every square and change the color of it without getting touched by enemies. It's a hard game. I like it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But it's hard.
I also feel like there was very little negotiating when it came to Qbert, in that like every other character is like, okay, you can't have them depicted like this. They're just like, you can do whatever you want to Qbert. You can spit on him. You can light him on fire. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what though? That said, I'll ask you this: like, does that not make him like? Of course, he's maybe not more memorable than Bowser, for example, but like that does make him kind of memorable. It makes him more memorable than like the Burger Time guy, because
Yeah.
it's like he's in the movie, he's got scenes, he's down. Even when he comes, I love when he goes to get Phoenix from Fix It Phoenix, and Phoenix is like, my Qbert isn't very good, and he's trying to have a discussion with him in Qbert. And they're like,
Yeah.
because that's how Qbert would always talk when he would die in the games. He would just
Yeah,
swear.
you see Felix, he's got like the blah, 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 blah above his head, and
Oh, it's fucking sick, man. Oh my god. Put such a smile on my face. So, like the whole movie, I was thinking about it today, like, because it's like an hour and a half long movie, and it feels like the first half hour is basically just setting up Ralph. And like you feel bad for the guy, and then the townspeople hate him, and then he's like, well, I'll show all of you. It's so, dude, how awkward is it when he fucking shows up to that party to celebrate the 30th anniversary and nobody wants him to come in? Like,
yeah, but like also really sad because like he's a part of that. Like in fact, he's probably more of a part of it than like most of the people there.
100%. And that's one of the that's where the writing is so brilliant, in my opinion, because like a kid maybe doesn't pick up on the awkwardness, they just feel bad for Ralph not being part of the party. But like we've probably all been at parties like as adults where there's someone there that you're like, oh fuck, they're here. And some of us have probably been the one who is like, how come I didn't get invited to that? Like seeing something that's happening online. So like you can relate to how Ralph feels. And then when he like gets into it with that guy Glenn or whatever the fuck, and he's like, I'll go get my own hero medal. Now, basically like I'll shove it up your fucking ass. And I'll like, that's the director's cut.
That is the direct quote from the movie.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. I think I'm paraphrasing, but go fuck yourself, Glenn. You can choke on these nuts. I'll go get a medal and I'll stick it up your
I was
fucking.
actually reading like the dude who voices that, like I'm trying to remember what the guy's name is, but like the dude that he's like really adversarial with the whole movie.
Yeah.
That guy's actually a director for The Simpsons.
Oh no shit, eh?
Yeah.
That guy's a dick.
Yeah, this is a cool little fun fact there.
Wow, that is, yeah. So then he sets out to get his own like hero medal, and it's really brilliant because like in that first 20-30 minutes, we know who Ralph is. We get that he's the villain, but we're all kind of cheering for him. They've explained how the arcade works. We've explained how they can take like the power line back into town to go to the town square. And then I love, excuse me, the way they have Sonic pop up on that billboard and explain if you die in another game, you don't come back to life. Great cameo by Sonic.
Great cameo. And I feel like it was probably the easiest way to get Sonic in the movie. Is a cameo because like it's the same, like that there were like, okay, Sonic can't do this, Sonic can't do this, and they're like, okay, he's reading the rules. That's how we get him in there.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. Yeah. So like they've explained all of that stuff, right? And then now we've got a reason for Ralph to start going to other games because he's sick of being treated like a piece of shit in his own town. So he's like, I'll go get a fucking hero medal and come back and be a hero, and then you'll all have to show me some goddamn respect. And then he leaves and goes to that hero duty.
Hero's Duty, which is like supposed to be like Call of Duty, I think.
I would imagine, yeah. And then like I love that. Not only is it cool that that's where he gets his medal because he climbs up the tower and gets his medal, you don't even realize it. And like it's so many movies. I'll ask you this: so many movies do this thing where they introduce like a character or a little element or something, and then late in the movie that comes back and that really matters again. And like in this
movie does this all over the place.
Oh yeah, tons of references.
It's like I said, like every single idea that's brought up in this movie is explored to its fullest potential.
Yeah,
like throughout the beginning of this movie, they keep talking about like, oh, you're not going turbo on us, are you? Like, and they explain that like Turbo used to be in this like turbo racing game, and he tried to take over another game, and both games got shut down. And you're like, okay, but then like later that idea is brought back and like and it's like, oh, that's a cool way to bring that back. Okay.
And what was really brilliant about that turbo thing was what I was thinking of was the cybugs from Hero Duty, and about how near the end of the movie the cybugs almost destroy sugar rush and like ruin everything. They do such a great job. Like they kind of teased Turbo a few times, and then eventually they explained that Turbo was the hot game and then wasn't it anymore, and then tried to invade other games and then got shut down altogether. And then you kind of forget about him. Like, I'll be honest with you, dude, having not seen this movie in a decade plus before I rewatched it for this, I totally forgot that Turbo was that king guy.
Was King Candy. Yeah.
I totally forgot.
And it like surprises you because like you see King Candy glitching out, and then like he's this like dude in the white suit, and it's like it's kind of like a dude no way moment.
Yeah, and they do such a great job of bringing him up just enough to make sure that you've never forgotten about him without it being, in my opinion, like maybe everyone else listening to this is like, you dumbass. Of course, everybody knew that was him. I did not realize that he was that Turbo guy.
No, and like because like you wouldn't think that. Like the plot is so like it's so cleverly planted that when it's revealed that that's who it is, it's impactful. But you don't go like, yeah, of course he's Turbo.
Yeah, the minute that glitch, like Vanellope glitches on him, and you see the Turbo face for half a second, I was sitting there watching it, and I was just like, "You son of a bitch!" And I fucking knew it right away. And I was like, "That's so well done." I hate that fucking guy. Listen, I still want to get into some of the other characters and all, and more of the references. And we've barely even talked about Vanellope and the racing and stuff. But we do have bills to keep on. So let us take a quick break, and then we'll come back and do that. Remember, the game will return after these messages.
I got Donkey Kong, and now I'll get you too, Junior.
I'm Donkey Kong Jr., and that's my papa. I'm trying to save him, and boy, do I need your help.
Nintendo's Donkey Kong Jr., the arcade game, is now the Super Home video game.
Save your papa, huh? Save yourself first.
He's chasing me with snapping jaws, and I could fall.
Help Donkey Kong Jr. save his papa on your ColecoVision, Atari 2600 VCS, or Intellivision video game system.
Game players everywhere, please help me save my papa.
If you've ever wondered how much of your favorite movies and TV shows really happened, head on over to basedonatruestorypodcast.com to find hundreds of episodes digging into the true story behind movies and TV shows. Once again, that's basedonatruestorypodcast.com.
So one person we haven't talked about at all yet is what's her name? Sergeant Calhoun. And
the Jane Lynch character.
If I could, I would just like to express my particular fondness for Jane Lynch. I just think she's awesome. I'll be honest, I kind of have a crush on her, even though I know she's, a little older than me. That's okay.
I don't think you're her type.
I don't think I am either, unfortunately. But
being a man and all, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm quite up to the cut. But she's so awesome. Like, I just think she's so cool, and she plays that character so fucking well too. And then
I can't think of anything that she's been in where she hasn't been hilarious.
No, she crushes it every time.
She was in Glee, and even in Glee, she was funny.
Yeah,
and I fucking hate Glee so much, but like I thought Jane Lynch was great in that show.
I'm not gonna pretend that I've ever watched Glee, but I've never everyone who doesn't love her. Like, how do you not love Jane Lynch? Like, she's awesome. She's awesome. And
40-year-old virgin. Have you ever heard of a fuck buddy?
And I haven't seen that movie forever either. Not only is she awesome in this movie, but I love her character because she could so easily, and I mean, she is probably of the four main characters, of Ralph, Phoenix, Vanellope, and her, she is probably the least important character, but I still love that they explained the origin of the one day she took off was the day the bug came and ate her fucking husband.
Yeah, came and ate her fiance at the altar.
Yeah, and that's why she's so intense all the fucking time. And then the minute she meets Phoenix is just heads over heels in love with this woman. And
yeah, Felix is voiced by Jack Brower from 30 Rock.
Yeah, I don't. So I think I said Phoenix. Excuse me, Felix.
It's Jack something or other.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna bullshit you. I have no idea who that guy is.
He was on 30 Rock, and he was in like, did you see Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No.
Okay, he was in that as well, and
I'm
a
working through
bunch
his...
of other stuff too, but like mainly 30 Rock in this.
Yeah, like I'm working through his filmography here, and I'm like, no idea. For me, I think I might have called him Phoenix a few times in this movie, or this episode. If I did, sure, people will write in and blah blah blah, Felix, whatever the fuck. Phoenix the cat.
I doubt anyone really. I don't think anyone's getting fired for that blunder.
Oh, I was just gonna say, somebody. You know what? A little bit of Perp Monkey dishwasher crossing the lines here.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
There you go. There you go, everybody.
I love how you just have that ready to go at any time.
I do. It's on the sound. I have them all. Like fucking yeah. I get like.
Son, they got 8 kinds of ketchup here and 3 kinds of ketchup.
We could just do sound effects for no fucking reason while we're doing this episode. But
Jack McBrayer is the actor's name.
Yes.
Sorry.
As soon as Felix meets her, like he's in love with her and she is not interested. And I can't remember what he says that just triggers her, but it's the same thing her husband or her fiance used to say to her all the time.
It's like, you're a real special gal.
Yeah, something. That's what it was. Yeah. And so then the only reason Ralph goes into Sugar Rush and that's, again, brilliant writing. So he breaks into the tower in Hero's Duty, gets his medal, ends up in a ship with one of those fucking cybugs where they crash into the central station and end up going into Sugar Rush, this Candy Crush looking kart race. It looks horrible. I love kart racers, but that game looks fucking terrible.
Dude, I think it looks fun.
It upsets my stomach just watching Sugar Rush. It's too sweet. There's too much.
I don't know.
Sugar.
It kind of has it does kind of have like a Diddy Kong Racing type vibe to it.
It comes across to me like, I don't know. To me, it feels like a mobile game that you would put a ton of money into. That's what I felt like it came across.
Yeah, maybe
it's because I thought of Candy Crush. I don't know.
Yeah, probably because you're thinking Candy Crush.
But like, so that ship crashes.
It looks like a pretty fun kart racing game, just like set in like a Candy Kingdom.
I will say, like, of all the games they could have made out of this movie, that's like, and I don't want to hear like about any kind of crappy movie, any crappy game they made. Like a big, like I'm playing Sonic Racing Crossworlds like a motherfucker right now. Had we gotten something like that of Sugar Rush after this movie, I might have been into it. Like it would have been a competent racer. I could have lived with that. But he like crashes into there, and now you've got Ralph crossing over with Vanellope because he's in her game, and then she steals his medal because she needs a coin to get into the race. So now there's a reason for those to be associating with each other. And then because the bug came from Hero's Duty, that's why the sergeant's coming over, and then Felix has to come in to get Ralph back. And so even again, like I know we're pointing out stupid basic writing things, but now we have a reason for all four of them to be in this fucking game.
And like you think that that's basic, but it's there are movies where it's just like, well, why is this character here?
Yeah.
Because Jasper didn't want to come by himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why I check out of so many movies and stuff, because I look for those fucking plot holes. And so I really respect that they were like, no, we're gonna make sure it makes sense that all four of these characters are in this game. If I do have a criticism of Wreck-It Ralph, and I don't, it's such a loose criticism. Basically, the entire second half of the game movie is just in Sugar Rush. And like, it probably would have been a worse movie had they left and gone to a bunch of other games, but I'd be lying if I didn't say the gamer in me would have liked to have seen them gone to a bunch of other games.
In the original draft, in the first draft of the movie, they actually did have Ralph going to like a life simulator game, but like they were struggling to find a way to fit it into the world, because it's like, well, why would you be playing a life simulator in an arcade?
Sure.
And it was like, no, this is going to be a game that was playing on like the owner's laptop or something. They kept like, and apparently like it was like in the first draft of the movie, like this is one of their favorite parts of it was this world, but they couldn't find a way to make it fit with the rest of the movie, so they ended up scrapping it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it like, that's why I don't want it to be a criticism, because I'm like, sure, the gamer in me like I love when he goes to Tapper and he's sitting there like talking to him, and then Tapper's got to go and serve all of the drinks. So he goes and does that, and you see that pixelated Ralph still sitting in the background looking irritated, waiting for him to come talk to him, you know? And then Tapper like comes back to him and he's talking to him about how to get a medal. Like that's all well and good, but I'm kind of glad it didn't go to a bunch of other places, even though I would have liked to have seen it, because it would have made it the movie would have suffered for them to have done that. You know, I wanted to happen. So like, I don't know, like, does it bother you at all that like, because basically once they're in Sugar Rush, like they basically don't leave Sugar Rush.
Yeah, that's kind of I mean, Ralph goes back to his own game for a little bit. Once the plot demands it, but yeah, most of it's in Sugar Rush. But but also like they have this reason why they can't leave Sugar Rush.
And that again, such a brilliant idea.
And it's a little thing. It's a little thing that they explain about like Vanellope being a glitch means that she can't leave the game. And it's such a little thing, but it makes it make sense.
It's really, really smart. And then like, it's like they thought of every little, they were like going through the script and they were like, what's the little detail here? Like what a little detail here. And then that part, so like, it's one thing, dude, I feel so bad for Vanellope when she's glitching and all the other girls like hate her and they show up and destroy her like homemade cart. And then Ralph chases them off. And like I'm sitting there as like a 41-year-old man watching this movie. And I felt like Mo finishing Little Women. Like I was like, oh, this poor girl just wants to be like one of the team, you know, and all that. And then she like lives by
she wants like, and it's smart that like she wants what Ralph wants, but almost from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
Like what she wants is she wants to be accepted. She doesn't even really want a race. She just wants to be accepted by the people in this world that she lives in.
Yeah. They both just want to be accepted. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like for her, like the only way to do that is by racing. So that's why she wants to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a ton. And then, so then they kind of bond over that and they go and make the car. And then Ralph and her, like she's learning how to drive in that canyon and all that kind of stuff. And she picks it up like super fast. And then I love that I have to shout out the two donut cops. The two donut cops fucking kill me.
The two donut cops. That is funny.
They're fucking hilarious. They just look they look like something out of Sausage Party. Like they just made me laugh, those two donuts. So then I love when the king shows up and he brings Ralph his medal and he like explains, and it's so well written. He explains to Ralph the reason they won't let Vanellope drive is because she's a glitch. And if she gets into the game and the players out there try playing and find out that she's a glitch, they're going to say the game is broken. They're going to unplug it. And then she's going to die because she can't leave the game like the rest of them could. What's that?
And there's a moment where you're just like, oh, is the bad guy right?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't believe you, sir. But I'm also like, maybe like it makes sense. Like, I get how Ralph is fooled by it because that's a smart story. Like that makes sense, you know. And
I guess like my only minor criticism of this movie is like, of course you have to have it so that King Candy is lying and really he's the bad guy. But like, I thought it might have been a bit more interesting if he wasn't lying about this, if he was telling the truth. And then it becomes like this moral dilemma of like, how do you let this kid exist? But like how does this kid exist in this world where she can't be a part of it or she'll ruin it? Like,
yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like the only
but
thing
then of course, like it is a kids movie. You do have to have like you have to have your villain. You have to have your heroes get what they want ultimately. And so like I understand why they did it like that, and it still works really well. But I thought it might have been a little bit more interesting if they had gone at it from like, no, the villain is actually right in this case.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really, really smart. And I was like I said, I was like, I don't believe him, but that everything about what he's saying makes sense. And then again, because they're so brilliant with the writing, when Ralph goes home and then he sees out the monitor, he sees the side of the Sugar Rush cabinet and sees Vanellope on the side as a character. So then that's such a brilliant way for him to crack the case, to be like, So if she's on the side of the cabinet, she clearly was part of the game. And then I love that she catches that, I don't know what that guy is, Gumdrop or whatever the fuck, that sad talking sidekick of the king, that green dot.
Yeah, it's a
and
character that like we don't know much about this character, but he was kind of funny.
But then I love that, like, again, the brilliant writing. I love that he explains that the king locked all their memories away inside the game's coding, and we don't know why. And so that's why no one else can explain why she's been locked away, and like why she doesn't know how to drive, why she's a glitch, and why no one else knows about her. And it's not until she glitches out and zaps the king, and you find out that the king is that fucking Turbo guy, that it all makes sense. That Turbo came in and even then I was still watching it, and I can't help but look for plot holes. And I'm just like, okay, all that makes sense. But I'm like, why would Turbo, what the fuck does he care about this one character? Like, why did he have to get rid of just her until she wins the race and you find out she's actually like the princess and she's in charge? So she's like
the actual ruler of this world.
Yeah, which I think is really well written as well.
That's why he locked her away and made everyone think she was a glitch.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be there.
Oh, it's just such fucking good writing, man. And then he tries to sacrifice himself to save all of them. Ralph does. I love the idea of the Mentos cavern over the boiling hot Diet Coke.
Dude, and like it came up as such a little thing, but it ended up. But it's what I've been saying. There's not an idea in this movie that is presented that isn't explored to its fullest potential, because that ends up being a huge part of the plot of this movie.
Yeah, and I even love the part near the end where Ralph is fighting Turbo as like the big bug thing, and Turbo goes, "Time for the boss fight" or whatever. And I was just like, that's gaming. Yeah. I love that. And then I love when he doesn't want to fly into the light, but the bug half of him does, and he's like, "No, don't."
Half of him is making him.
That's really smart too. I liked that a lot. I also wanted to just mention some of the some of the fucking Easter eggs in this. Like, I love that the Konami code was the password to get into the server for the game.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And I love when when Ralph's going through the Lost and Found, and the Metal Gear Solid exclamation point is in there.
And then there's a mushroom.
Yeah, and then the Zangief tights, which was gross.
Like, you, Zangief.
Yeah. But I love those, like, there's so many little, just when you're watching the background, you're catching all these characters and all these side characters and stuff from all these games. It's just a brilliantly written. Like, I haven't watched it in so long, and I was like, fuck, what a great, like, it's really funny, it's charming. There's moments that are so sad, like when Vanellope's car gets destroyed by all the mean girls is sad, and then when Ralph hangs her on that tree and wrecks her car and she's yelling at him, rips my heart out of my chest.
Like, he thinks he's doing the right thing, but then like when she comes down, she just goes, "You really are a bad guy." And the way she says that, it's like, she meant it the way that hurts.
Yeah. Right after she baked him this medal that said, "You're my hero." And then he fucking hangs her up, destroys her car, but she doesn't know that he just had that discussion with the king.
Yeah.
Which was fucking brutal. And then there's another part near the end when the bugs are like, when she couldn't get across the finish line, and then all the bugs are coming and destroying the race and everything. And Ralph is fighting Turbo, and then the sergeant and Felix and Vanellope are on the rainbow track, like trying to leave the game. And the bugs are like trapping them in the back corner, and Vanellope can't get out the wall to leave. And oh my god! And then the bugs or Turbo grabs Ralph's head, and he's like, "Let's watch her die together." And I was like, "That's fucking cold for a kids movie." Jesus Christ!
Yeah, like, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And then she just starts glitching past all of them. It was. It's just like the movie takes you on like there's sadness, there's hilarity, there's like just charm to it. It does there's like borderline adrenaline when she's in the fucking car racing trying to catch the king, and like, we've all watched movies, we all know she's gonna catch the king, but you still can't help but sit there and be like, "Let's go, girl, get that fucking king, come on now, let's go."
Dude, one of the best moments of this movie for me though is like when like Ralph is fighting King Candy above that Mentos volcano, and he breaks free, and he's just like, it's over for both of you. And he goes, no, just for me. And he breaks free, and he's meaning to sacrifice himself to save Vanellope in this moment. And he's just going like, I'm bad, and that's good. I'll never be good, and that's okay. It had like, you know what it reminded me of? Did you ever see The Iron Giant?
No.
Oh my God, that is a great movie. So the end of this movie, spoiler for like another like 25-year-old movie or however old it is at this point, where there's this nuke is coming to the town, and this giant is like, he's going up to meet it because he knows he's meeting his demise, and he just closes his eyes and goes, Superman, before he gets blown up and dies, and that's the end of the movie. And that's just what this moment reminded me of.
And like, you know he's not going to die, but it's still classic movie 101. Have the hero sacrifice themselves to save the world and then survive somehow in the end, of course.
Yeah.
So well fucking done. And then I love, even like at the end of the movie, Vanellope drives across the finish line, resets the game, which gets her powers back, makes her the princess again. And then all the other racers suddenly remember that she is the princess. And then they're apologizing to her for being so mean to her. And then she's like, I just want them all executed. And then they start bawling, and then she's like, I'm just messing with you. But
yeah.
And then I love that she like takes off the princess dress, and she's like, I'm still just plain old Vanellope. And then the great part to me is at the very end, the happy ending, where Ralph's explaining that like now all the townspeople bring him cake and make him feel welcome. They built him a house in the dump. I love that all the Cubert people have moved in, and they're like part of the game now too. And the bonus,
they're part of the game, and like the cake said like, to our favorite villain, and
yeah. And then he was like, my favorite part of the day is when they throw me off the building, because when they lift him up, he can see Sugar Rush.
And he sees Vanellope racing, and she still glitches, but it's like a superpower now.
Yeah. But you know, it is funny though, because like, I feel like today's internet, if that was the real thing, would just be like, Sugar Rush is broken. Vanellope's OP. She needs to be nerfed. This is bullshit.
She is like, OP. You know, Vanellope is OP. That's why she's on the side of the boat,
yeah.
like of the cabinet.
Yeah. Everyone that plays it online just plays as Vanellope, just cheeses the glitches. It's fucking crap. But which is what people would do now. But it's oh my God. What as charming as any movie I have watched in a long fucking time. I forgot how good this, like, it will not be 13 years before I watch this movie again.
It's so good.
And then just all the nonstop references to gaming and stuff just make it even better.
Yeah.
Oh man. So now we were just saying, I won't spoil anything from it. I don't remember that much about it, but you have not yet seen the sequel, you said.
I haven't. Now I don't. I'm hesitant about the sequel. I've heard mixed things. I've had some people be like, "Oh no, it's really good," and I've had some people be like, "There's no reason for this movie to exist." And I don't want to see the sequel, not because like I think it'll be bad. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure if I watched it, I'd like it. But I just love this movie so much. Like, it's such a self-contained story, and I have the same problem with Stranger Things. I watched the first season of Stranger Things, and I'm like, that was a perfect story, beginning to end. There was like, I don't need to see more of this. And then they kept making more Stranger Things, and I'm like, I don't need to. I saw the first season; it was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah,
but apparently it got a lot better. So
I gave up during season 2. It lost me on season 2 of Stranger Things. Season 1 was fine, and then it lost me. Dude, honestly, it's not like it's I haven't seen it since it came out. I saw it in theaters. I haven't seen it since, but I remember thinking it was fine. It was just, was it necessary? No, but it's not like it ruined the fucking, like, it wasn't an abomination or anything. It was just, you know, it's, I might give it a watch now in the coming weeks, just because I haven't seen it in so long. And it can't touch this one though. Like, it's, I think I said to you before we started recording, it is not Toy Story 2 to the original Toy Story. Like, it is inferior, but it's just fun to see those characters again. So,
and the cool thing is, like, one of the things that I caught is like a big Disney dork is the song at the very end, like as the credits are rolling, the "When can we do this again?" Whoa is currently being used by Disney for for their Paint the Night parade in the parks. So like, and I actually didn't know that that's where that song was from. So like when I was watching this and that song came on, I'm like, oh no way, that's so interesting.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a good. I think it's Owl City that sings it. It's a good song.
Yeah,
I
that
like
makes
that song.
sense.
Yeah, I like Owl City. I like that kind of music.
Are they the ones that did the 10,000 Firefly
yeah,
songs?
yeah. I believe it was they
Okay.
did the yeah. I'd like to make myself believe. Yeah, I think that was them. Yeah. Yeah, I like that track, and it fits the end of this movie so perfectly.
Yeah.
So, and then like I love seeing that like Felix and the Sarge got married, and then I love that when they're getting married, all of the soldiers are in the audience or whatever. I don't know what you call it. What do you call the audience at a wedding?
The people in attendance,
People
I
in
guess.
attendance, whatever. But I love that all their like laser
Congregation,
pointers.
maybe?
The what?
Congregation,
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. But I love that they all have their like guns pointed at that glass window, like in case a bug breaks in and stuff. They're all ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm good. I just wanted to geek out over this movie for an hour. Is there anything we've missed that you want to talk about? I feel good. I love this movie.
Okay, well, the one thing I will mention is like the one thing that like I remember watching, because like it's got a good soundtrack and like the music is very functional, but like usually the music in a Disney movie is like fucking great. Whereas like this time it's like the incidental music was fine, it did its job, the soundtrack was pretty good, but like it wasn't like a great soundtrack like a Disney movie usually would be.
I didn't notice that. I guess now you're saying it, I wouldn't disagree with that. I never, kind of never. I admittedly like every scene, I was like looking for Easter eggs and stuff. I was so focused on that
Yeah.
I think I missed it. But yeah, I'll concede that.
Well, it's not a big deal. It's not like a huge thing. But yeah, it was just a thing that I noticed afterwards.
Yeah. Still if by some chance you're listening to this and you made it to the end and you haven't seen it, grow up. Go see Wreck-It Ralph. It's incredible. If you're listening to this, you're obviously a gamer. How you've not seen Wreck-It Ralph? I haven't seen anything, and I've seen Wreck-It Ralph. How the fuck have you not seen Wreck-It Ralph? I think it's spectacular. I love this movie. I would love an arcade cabinet. Like even if it didn't play anything.
They actually did make one. They did make a Fix It Felix cabinet that you could play in like Adventureland. In Tomorrowland in like the Disney parks.
Oh, I'd be all over that, man. I would buy one of those.
I don't think it's there anymore, but like, yeah, like that's so cool. Like, I kind of want one. Or they're very like, I want them to like re-release this that I can play on my TV. I'd love to play Fix It Felix on my TV.
100%. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. Like, I know they made a couple of like crappy games and stuff, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't lean more into that. You know,
like you could make like I'm just imagining like a $5 like, oh, you can download this game kind of thing from like the Nintendo eShop. But like there is if you are like there is like a full price game in here, I think. And it's like you could have a game that was like the racing game and Fix It Felix and the bug game, and then maybe even like if they could afford the licensing, like a collection of like old-timey arcade games, like all in one cartridge, that would be worth like an $80 price tag, like an $80 like price tag for me.
I mean, I think it would have back then. I think it's too late now. Like I think
it's too late now.
The ship
but
is
like,
obviously sailed.
Like if this movie came out now, like that's kind of the tie-in I would have wanted to see with it.
Yeah. What a game. I hope we get a third one. I was looking into it and all I saw was John C. Reilly said that he wouldn't be opposed to the idea of a third one if they wanted to. But I haven't seen anything else about it since.
I don't think a lot of people went and saw the second one.
I'm just looking right now. Fucking made over $500 million.
The second one?
Yeah.
Wow, It really did break the internet.
Box office 529. Yeah. First one's box office was 500. Yeah, they both made $500 million. Yeah, like box office
Jesus.
anyway.
Yeah, there's no reason for that we wouldn't get a third one then.
Yeah. In November of 2018, John C. Reilly said that if a third film was to be made, he would consider seeing Ralph and Vanellope beaming themselves right out into space. All right, that's enough, John C. That's enough. That's why we're not getting a third one.
I'd watch that movie. Although, you know what? I said I'd watch a sequel to this one, and then I didn't. So
yeah.
So if they don't make a third one, it's my fault.
Yeah, I'll blame. Yeah, get him. Yeah, we'll all blame Mark. But anyway, good movie, great movie, fucking great movie. We'll score it out of 25 cents to play an arcade cabinet.
Oh, that's smart.
So,
okay.
How many cents would you give Wreck-It Ralph?
I'll give it 23.
You know,
we have been saying like it is a perfect movie, but like I'll take away maybe, you know what? No, 24. I'll give it 24. I'll take away 1 cent because the music wasn't as good as it is in other Disney movies.
Yeah. I've never given a movie a perfect score on this show, but I just think I'm going to go there. I'm going to give it the full quarter. I just love this movie. I love this movie. I'm just a giant child, and this movie hits every note. I just think it's perfect.
Like it's just so not like, and it is like, it's so fucking flawless in its execution. It's like there's no wrinkles in the script. The characters, you know what they want. You understand their perspective. Even the villain, you're like, no, I get what that guy wants.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 25. It's fantastic. And before we wrap this up, I will just say, I Googled it, and all over the internet, there's like rumors that a Wreck-It Ralph 3 is in development, but it hasn't been announced yet. So I bet you if a movie's making $500 million, we're going to get another one.
Yeah, if they make a third one, I'll watch the second one before I go.
Yeah. What do they do with a third one? I wonder if the third one would be like Donkey Kong Jr. and it'd be like Wreck-It Ralph's son or something.
Well, like the second one was about the like online gaming, I think. And so like maybe the third one could be about like, I don't know, it could be like taking on like the play-to-play games, like the
like microtransactions and stuff.
Yeah, like they're being beaten out by games with microtransactions or whatever. I don't know. There might be something there. Who knows?
I was gonna say, like, I think, like, personally, I'd love to see a prequel and like explain like the development of Wreck-It Ralph, like how Ralph and Felix like met. Maybe they hated each other at first, and then they like became friends. But then you don't have Vanellope at all, and you can't make one of these without her.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway. Well, that was a solid way to spend an hour of a Friday night. Now, I'm going to say my my Zencaster keeps popping up and saying, alert, participant Adam Blank is having a problem. Participant failed with member and then a giant number. But everything looks like it's recording. So if you're all hearing this, then that alert was lying. And if you're not hearing this, then
I'm not seeing any alerts on this side.
Yeah, and my wavy lines are still waving. So I think we're okay. Maybe it's Turbo trying to stop us. That son of a bitch. But I knew it was Turbo. Even when it was the king, I knew it was Turbo. So anyway, buddy, nice non-Purple Monkey dishwasher chat. If people want to look at your face and hear your thoughts, where can they do those things?
Oh, okay. You can find me on TikTok. I'm at Bark McCue. I'm always there. Yeah, I'm there talking about whatever I'm thinking about that day usually, and sometimes people love it, sometimes people hate it.
That's just the internet being the stupid internet.
So yeah.
Good. Buddy, thanks for doing this. And I guess we'll do it again in a couple of days with Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Mark, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking some Wreck-It Ralph. And every single one of you nerds listening to this, whether it was your first RTG, your 354th, some random number in between, who knows. Thank you so much for listening to us. Really, I said it off the top, but I really do enjoy doing this. And would I still be doing it if nobody was listening after 354 episodes? I don't know. Maybe not with the frequency that I do. So thank you for giving us a chance and giving us a precious, precious download and a click. That's awesome. You know the plugs. One last time, if you like it, or if you like it, if you like us, if you like me, if you just feel bad for me, whatever the fuck, patreon.com/rememberthegame. Subscription start at $3 a month. 4 additional shows a week. We have a new show every day, Monday through Friday over there, including Remember the Game, 100% ad-free with timestamps. You can write into the show. You can join our Discord. You can vote on the games we're covering. You know the rigmarole by now, so check that out if you are interested. I've been streaming a little bit lately, kind of dipping my toe back in the old pool. So twitch.tv/rememberthegame. You can also find some Let's Plays and stuff of mine at youtube.com/rememberthegame. Links to that, all that, and all that, everything is at rememberthegamepodcast.com. And leave us a nice review if you didn't hate it. I don't know what they accomplished, but damn it, I am going to keep asking for them because I know what they do for me. And that is, they turn me on just a little bit. I read them. And they make me feel good. So I think that's it. Millie, we got any other plugs, pal? She is licking her rear end. I think that is, that's a perfect way to end the show, buddy. We're going to call it an episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you are a Patreon tomorrow, Expansion Pass, it'll be my review of Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I'll be rambling like an idiot on Friday, and we'll be back next week with a whole nother slab of shows. I don't know if next week is going to be Jaws on the NES or God of War 2 for the PS2, but I can assure you that's the next 2 episodes. I'm just not sure which order they're going to go live in yet. So come back in a week. And you'll know. I'm going to thank some Patreons and leave. Thank you for listening. Talk to you later. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And as such, I am contractually obligated to say their names as quickly as I can. So a huge, heartfelt Remember the Game thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer Slick Motherfucking Rick, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Sharonic, J Nasty 15, Jort King Keegs, Dissect That Dan, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Little Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Tix, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, A-Town Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Dean Donian, Jeff Bergeron, Randy Barrett, Just a Fish. The following people are gay: Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black Silver, 333, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd James, Madam Nutsitch, DBXJ, Jameel Williams, Steve Dulks, Bitch Ass Brian, Dude Where's My Game, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Jake Carter, Laces Out Dan, Growlywog, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Dark Squall, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babinu, Gabe, Fuzzy 99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who is not a surgeon, Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie who is not a hoagie man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Jimothy, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Zombies, Coda Blazed My Neighbors, General Fury, I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, Max Legroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Drugs are bad, okay, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, Maverick, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monster SD Boner, AB Kellen Works for Me, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Scotty J, Just Car Pranks, Zombie Exy, Bartman Forever, Dark Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Ryan 4664, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee Wee Squitters, Nordak, Leroy Jenkins, Lord Palmerston, Beers of War, Because 19, Infinity Rage, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Logrod von Hugendom II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Sour Goat Face, Faded Sufferance. No, I did it. Chris Hill isn't scared. That could be anyone's ass. I have 100 left. And I was like, fuck, am I going to make it through this without tripping over my words once? And then I tripped. God damn it. Double secret probation, Faded Sufferance, for your name fucking me up, even though I said it right. That's on you. B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow, Kiku, The Supreme Chozo Rizzo, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why? E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jake Callahan, Robbie Air, Brian Richmond, Blue Shell Discharge, Bula, Matt Zeus, Too Much Karma, Mopey36, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Jr., Is it Junior or JR? JR, Bob Dobbs. I'm going JR. Bob Sacamano, Chaz Hammond, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Ryan Whitcomb, Justin Tate, Pumpkin Spice Latte, Thrill Ho, Toby O.P., Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Generic Name 238, Wario's Warthog, David Schroeder, Moncal, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Conebread, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Daniel Cook, Dazerath, Super Saiyan, Safarioth, The Only Sean, The Grim Patron, MacGyver 88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Erotic Onion Ring, Captain Asbury Juice, Doogie Bowser MD, Shut Up, Topher Love, Thunder Leaps, Legendberry, Jinxie 425, Akiris Network, Horror Wars Podcast, Jeff Lippard, Game Boy Gannon, Fancy Starbot Dirt, Steaming Wooly, Botfucker, Mikey Hag, Shane's World, Devin Collins, Cannon Fodder Games, Trooper Galactus, Exotic Chaotic, Just James, Spooky Dookie, Profound, Frank Preves, The Okayest of Muffins, Landed Turquoise, Vigfried, Tyler Patchell, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, Lindsay Lee, Jonathan Breyer, Redline Aero Drones, George Swan, King Tiki Tiki, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, Chris Nethercutt, Athena, David Faith, Blake Wise, and Amanda Hugginkiss. That was a fucking pretty good batch of shout-outs. I give that an 8.6. That's pretty fucking good. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Appreciate you guys. See you later.